Hi, my name is Nahum Yob, and today I'm going to be explaining step 7 of phase 2, which is picking a customer to serve. And essentially, in this step and this phase, actually, you're going to want to find a problem that is worth solving and that the customer segment is willing to pay to solve. The best problem is going to be one that you have unique insight into because this will allow you to understand the problem more, which will in turn make it easier for you to find a solution, provide it, and uh, get it to this to the customer base. So essentially, you're going to want to find a large unmet market need that people you have contact with regularly are willing to have addressed. Um, Entrepreneurs these days often get this stage mixed up, and this is crucial. So when they mix it up, these two essential things, it often leads to the failure of the business or the business not doing as well during the startup. And these two things are finding a problem and finding customers. They often mix these two things up. What you're going to want to do is start by finding, what they often do is start by finding what they think needs a solution to, and then going and finding the customers. But um, founders that start with a that often don't have a startup idea of what they want to address are often at a advantage than people who do have an idea or a solution that they want to address, because these people tend to get emotionally attached to the idea and are not willing to pivot and listen to customer feedback and improvements that it can have, which aren't the qualities of an entrepreneur that or a startup that will succeed. And it is not the best way to find the customers worth that you need to serve. um, there's discussion of how do you look for good customers, and you want to start by finding a customer segment for, like I said, you are uniquely poised for, um, and that you could find a solution for. These are the customer segments that will have similar characteristics to you, and they're going to be the basis of your startup. You will know when you have found the right customer segment when you're able to answer the following questions with yes. Am I a member of this group? Meaning, am I best to find a solution to the problems myself? And will I benefit from these solutions as well? And it gives you, will you have an insight and access to these customers regularly? Do you have a passion for this group? Will you do it if you are not getting paid for this? Uh, if you're getting half the amount or making half the amount of money, are you still willing to do this? Are you that passionate for it? Because the more passion is always better. It's gonna give you that drive. I believe discussed in step 6. It's gonna give you that drive to push more and that motivation to further succeed with your new startup. Uh, the third thing is going to be, is the customer segment large and growing? Ideally, you want tens of thousands rather than hundreds. It just makes it more accessible and more accessible to finding these customers, and it kind of enables. It's just nothing but a pro, because the more people, the more customers. Do you have regular contact? You're gonna want to have, ideally, frequent contact is better than less. Ideally daily or weekly. So those are the 4 things you're gonna want to look into when you are trying to find a customer segment to serve. And yep, thank you for listening. Step 8 is gonna be presented by somebody else on the team. Thank you.
Step 8 of coming up with a startup is opportunity generation, which requires targeting 3 potential market segments that can be used to identify a problem or unmet need that we want solved. Our first potential segment is university students, which have the following problems: how to have good time management, debt, and homesickness. Our second segment is public transportation users, whose problems are no student discounts, no cell phone service or Wi Fi underground, and few subway lines. The third segment is bar and club patrons, who face the following issues: no way of knowing how busy a club or bar is, still need to pay cash at the door instead of paying ahead of time, and it's hard to know what the dress code is. The three main segment problems we found are university students who suffer from a lack of time management skills, along with public transportation users who have no Wi-Fi connection underground, and lastly, bar and club patrons who don't have the ability to know how busy a location is before arriving.
Stage 9 is all about identifying your early adopter. An early adopter are those that are leading the way for your new venture. In other words, they are your first customers. Early adopters have three distinct traits. 1, they have a problem and they know they have a problem. 2, they are already trying to solve the problem in any way they can, even if that way is mediocre. And third, which is most important, is they are willing to pay. Overall, what sets your early adopters apart from other segments like early majority and late majority is that they're willing to pay for a product or service in order to solve their problem, and therefore are your ideal customer. You may ask, how do I find these early adopters? You must look to different sources. You must look at what they do, what they attend, what they watch, and what they read. Once you locate this, you will locate your early adopters, and this will bring success to your venture.
Step 12. Writing your customer delivery script. Your customer delivery script will help you understand your customers better and will turn assumptions that you may have about customers into knowns. Now the script must be standardized so that it will tell you what you need to know and not just what you want to hear. The script must be the same every time that you use it in an interview. Now there are several steps in the interview process. The first is just to welcome and set the stage for the customer. The second is to collect demographics, which will help you further on with data. The third is to tell a story and set the problem in context. The fourth is problem ranking to see what the customer needs and how important they are. The fifth is to explore the customer's worldview. This is the heart of the interview and will probably take up the most time. The sixth is to wrap up, which is to thank the interviewees and also ask for potential other subjects so that you can grow your market research. The final one is to document the results and make sure to leave no stone unturned and to document everything that took place during the interview. There are some tips to help you in these interviews. The first is to prepare a list of questions and abstract these questions. The second is to conduct research on the industry and the company that you will be visiting, as you do not want to ask questions that you could have the answer to. Conduct research on the person as well, so that you get a better understanding. Prepare a few starter questions to make the person feel more comfortable. Write down a few customer prompts in case the interview stalls. Remember to set the table and give context. Practice your questions and remember to be patient.